All right, Steeler Nation. It's Sunday morning. You wouldn't know that if you weren't here, but you are here. At least I hope you're here. Is everybody here? Dave, are you here?
I think I'm here, but where are we at? We're at Studio One, the Detroit Auto Parts Studio #1.
Yeah.
The OG, back where we started with Steel City Renegades. Wanted to do a quick hour draft show for you guys. Got Hines Ward here, get you caught up on some Steelers news that we got throughout the off season and whatnot.
Yes, sir.
So we got Lee behind the board over there, and we got
Yo.
Sewing Room Chipper. Chipper, what's happening today? How you doing? Chipper, are you there?
All right. Well, apparently I'm having internet issues. Apparently I'm having internet issues. Are you guys there?
Yep, we're here, man.
We are here. We are here. Well, let's get into it real quick. Here, Lee, the latest transaction for the
I don't get it, man. It's my laptop.
The latest transaction we have here for Pittsburgh was on 4/21. We acquired wide receiver, former Chicago Bear, Jacksonville Jaguar, and Los Angeles Ram Allen Robinson for a 2023 seventh round pick, 251st overall from the Rams. I'm sorry.
We gave them.
Yeah. We gave them a 234 and we got 251. So we moved back 17 spots.
Yes, sir.
So good pickup there for Pittsburgh with Allen Robinson. Hopefully he can be a good third wide receiver. I know he had 33 catches last year. He played in 10 games, 3 touchdowns. I like this move by Pittsburgh. We really didn't give anything up for him. I'm glad that we kind of got him third wide receiver. He's going to wear number 11, what Chase Claypool wore. He had some pretty good years out in Chicago. He had 1,000 yards receiving out there with Mitch as his quarterback. So hopefully, if we can get anywhere from 45 to 58 catches from him and 5 touchdowns, it's well worth it. It's worth it now for the 7th round draft pick. I mean, people are saying, oh, well, he's washed up. He's 29 years old. He was injured last year. Hopefully he comes back off the injury and performs pretty well.
All right. So, here's my thought on that, right? Everybody was complaining that we had nobody to throw the ball to last year. I mean, this kind of takes care of that. I mean, and apparently the Steelers like doing business with the Bears because, we gave Claypool up to the Bears. That turned out to be a really good transaction for us because we moved up quite a few spots in the second round of the draft because of that. So now we have 2 second-round draft picks because we got rid of Claypool. I mean, everything you said about this kid is spot on, and with him already having worked with Mitch, and we know that Mitch is going to be doing a lot of stuff, obviously, to get Kenny Pickett up to where we need Kenny Pickett to be again this season. I love that pick. But let's go back to January. On January 17th, and here's the funny thing about this, and I'll get Chipper's opinion on this as well. Here's the funny thing about this. Omar Khan, our new general manager, he came out at the beginning of the offseason and he basically said, this is a team that builds in the draft, so we're not going to be that busy in the offseason. But yet I got 2 pages of shit that we did in the offseason.
Yeah, a pretty busy offseason for Pittsburgh. I like it. A lot of decent names, not a big name, splashy, sexy player, but a lot of decent names that here to fill needs for us. Chipper, real quick, what do you think about the Allen Robinson trade? Are you a fan of it or no?
We got a lot of players, like you said. We didn't make a big splash, but we just got a lot of players, especially on the offensive line, which was good.
What do you think about the Allen Robinson?
Was supposed to be second? Nothing wrong with that. I mean, we just swapped 7th round pick, and the Rams picked the most of his salary.
And here's the key thing about that. I'm glad that you brought that up, Chipper. So he was making $15 million. The Rams are paying $10.25 million of that contract. Pittsburgh's only paying essentially a 1-year deal for $4.75 million.
Yeah.
Wow. So I mean, decent wide receiver for that. I'll take that all day long. What's that, Chipper? What's that, Chipper?
Actually, we've got him for 2 years. We got him this year and next year.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 years for $5 million. That's 2.5 million a year. I'll take that.
Yeah. But back in January, we signed wide receiver Anthony Miller to a 1-year contract. We placed a bunch of people on the reserve future contracts, so I'm not worried about that stuff. But then in February, we signed safety Christian Kuntz and linebacker Jameer Jones to 1-year contracts. In March, we were really busy. We released cornerback William Jackson III and defensive back Carlins Platel. Signed cornerback Patrick Peterson.
Let's stop right there for a second, Lee. Let's talk about Patrick Peterson here for a second. He's 32 years old. He was injured last year, kind of resurrected his career over in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
He signed a 2-year, $15 million contract. I'm okay with that. I really am. I'm okay with that. I'm anxious to see what him and Minka can do together out there in the backfield for the Steelers. I like that move by Pittsburgh. A lot of people don't like it. I think they're going to play him at a lot of free safety, is from what I'm hearing. I know that I've been watching the Arthur Moats podcast, and Arthur Moats has been talking highly about Patrick Peterson. He's came in, he's hungry on a 2-year deal. I mean, I like that deal. Chipper, what's your thoughts on the Patrick Peterson signing?
I like that. I mean, we have him for what, 2 years, and the slot cornerback. So yeah.
Yeah, and then we released Miles Jack
and helps us out defensive backfield.
Yeah, and then we released Miles Jack. Dave, I know you were kind of high on Miles Jack last year. Has your thoughts on Miles Jack changed since he got released?
Absolutely, because I don't know what happened to this kid. He was actually pretty good with Jacksonville. He came to Pittsburgh and he didn't do pretty good. And I was, there was one of the articles I was reading that Steelers might bring him back, and for linebacker depth, I'm okay with him, doing that and whatnot. Then bringing him back, I still believe in him. He's still 26 years old, man. The kid can play. I just think that he had a bad year, man. He had to get into rhythm with that offense or that defense. I'm sorry. So I mean, I don't know. Let's see if they bring Miles Jack back.
Yeah. Chipper, what's your thoughts on them releasing Miles Jack?
He was kind of a disappointment, but yeah, if they bring him back, I have to be at a good price.
All right. And then March 16th was a busy day. We signed offensive guard Nate Herbig to a 2-year deal, linebacker Cole Holcomb to a 3-year deal, linebacker Alan Edlund Roberts to a 2-year deal. That was on the 17th, but and then we re-signed defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi, probably one of the best moves we got from that team that plays down the street, and we got him for another 3 years. So just on those players alone that I just mentioned, out of those, which one do you think makes the biggest splash to you, Chipper?
I like out of all the moves that we made, I like the Cole Holcomb. I like the Isaac Samolomo that we got from Philadelphia. Those are the two that I like the most.
Okay.
Yeah, both of them are Andy Weidel's prodigies over there. He knows a lot about them. He's been talking highly about them. You guys talk about who we got here. We got Nate Herbig, Cole Holcomb, Elandon Roberts. Elandon Roberts moves around with the football real well. Was in Miami last year, spent some time with the Patriots, so he knows how to win. He knows the Patriot way and whatnot, and this is what we need, depth at linebacker. Cole Holcomb, I've been watching some tape on him or some film on him. He gets around. He's an upgrade from Robert Spillane, and he'll fit right in over there. Hearing that he's going to be the signal caller on defense, so he'll be calling in all the plays for the Steelers, but I like Cole Holcomb, man. I mean, I like the mullet. Let's get the mullets going in Pittsburgh. Let's root for this kid. He's going to be pretty good. We got him for a 3-year deal. And Nate Herbig, man. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched his introductory press conference, but he was happy to be a Steeler. And if he's happy to be a Steeler and he plays, what his heart on his sleeve, I like that, man. I think he's going to be a tough kid, and he's very underrated. He gave up 1 sack in 3 years. 1 sack in 3 years. So that's what Kenny needed over there. Kenny needed some protection. Chipper, what do you think about Nate Herbig?
I like that signing too. I mean, Isaac Samoloa from Philadelphia as guards. That Isaac Samoloa was supposed to be the second best rated run blocking guard available, and Nate Herbig again is a guard, so there's nothing wrong with helping out the interior of our line.
Yeah, so we got 2 guards in that, and then we also picked up another offensive lineman, LaRaven Clark. Signed him to a 1-year deal. I don't know too much about this kid. Do you know anything about him, Dave?
I just think they added him for a camp body and for depth, down the line.
Well, he's on a 1-year deal, so I don't think he's just going to be on the practice squad.
No, I didn't say practice squad. I think he's a camp body. They bring him in, they see what they like. Any of these guys who sign 1-year deals, they can be released in training camp and whatnot or preseason. But let's get back to the Larry Ogunjobi thing real quick.
Yeah.
You talked about that 3-year deal.
Yeah.
When they signed Larry O last year, I really liked that move. And a lot of people were like, oh, well, he's washed up. He's coming off a foot injury. He fit the Steelers football, the mold really well with Pittsburgh. So I'm happy that we re-signed him. We got him for 3-year contract, real cheap. I think we got him for $21 million, so $7 million a year. I'm okay with Larry Ogunjobi, Larry O, as they like to call him. I'm cool with him signing that contract and being back as a Steeler because I think that he's got a lot left to prove. He's 27 years old, so we get him till he's 30. Awesome move by Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and I mean, when I was watching him play for Cleveland, because obviously, my wife is a fan of that team. I mean, I liked what Ogunjobi was doing there. I mean, he's a defensive tackle, and that's obviously a position that we needed a little bit of depth at and everything as well. Get some help out there for those guys. And I liked what he was doing, not just with Cleveland, but obviously with the Steelers as well. So yeah, I like that trade, or that signing. We got him for 3 years, like I said. Chipper, anything on Ogunjobi for that you liked?
Yes, I mean, he played well for us last year and being on a 3-year deal. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I was hoping they would re-sign him, actually.
Yeah.
But Lee, you talked about LaRaven Clark. I don't know much about him. Like I said, I think he's a camp body. I think he's depth because I think Pittsburgh's looking for the draft, and I got I got the person that I want us to take, and hopefully I'm hearing a lot of rumblings that we're trying to move up from 17 to 9 to get in the top 10 to get this kid, and hopefully we can get him. But yeah, so we'll talk about that a little bit later here after we finish up these free agents. LaRaven Clark, I don't know much about him. Then we go into April Lee. We signed DeMonte Casey to a 2-year deal. Love that move. He fit the mold really well for Pittsburgh back there. Played really well. Re-signed Zach Gentry, another offensive weapon. Well, he's not a big weapon. He gives you anywhere from that 15 to 30 catches for the year. 2 touchdowns. If we can get that out of him, we're great with that. Braden Fianco, they signed him a nose tackle for 1 year. Good deal on that. And here's the other one that I love, Lee. I'm going to circle this right now, and I'm going to talk about this throughout the season. Hard-hitting defensive back, Keanu Neal. This kid has got a motor, and he can move around the field, and he hits hard. That's what I like about him. Good pickup out of them from Atlanta. I'm anxious to see him play. I mean, he's got a motor. He can play, he can hit, and that's what we need. We need somebody to knock some sense into these wide receivers. I mean, I'll take the 15-yard penalty and move on from that, but let's go. Let's get him there.
With a first name like Keanu, I'm expecting some John Wick-style hits, man.
Or he's very fast. Speed reference.
Well, I mean, hey, if he can hit like John Wick and move like Neo, I'm good with it with a name like Keanu. Chipper, what did you think about Keanu Neal?
I like that signing too. It's a 2-year, so it's high risk, low risk, high reward. So 2-year deal. Then depending on who we get in this year's draft, there's a talk of us drafting a safety. I think the kid out of Alabama is who pops up first as far as us drafting in this year's draft. But yeah, again, 2-year deal, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and then we released linebacker Jameer Jones. I don't really remember too much about this kid. That name doesn't pop out to me, so I don't think he was that big of a presence in our defense. Dave, did you remember anything about Jameer Jones?
I do remember a little bit about him. He played sparingly throughout 3 games when we needed a linebacker when they were hurt. He played a couple plays. He had 1 good sack, and that's about it from him. I know Pittsburgh was high on him. over the last 2 years they drafted him, and I mean,
so it was basically a TJ Watt fill-in when Watt was down.
No, he didn't fill in for Watt. That was Mark Robinson, 93, who's going to have a big year this year. I think that that rookie, him and what's the other kid that we got from Georgia? Chipper Neal's his last name, Levante Neal or something like that. What's his name?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's his name, Levante Neal.
Yeah, Levante Neal. Look out for him this year. But we get back to it, Lee, over here on the defensive side, defensive tackle, Armand Watts. We got him to a one-year deal. Linebacker Taylor Muse, who's a special teamers here. He came up from the Seahawks. Like that move. That's what we needed on special teams. He's also a linebacker, can fill in there if needed be. We got a new punter to compete against Percy Harvin, who hasn't lived up to his draft stock with Pittsburgh and hasn't had a good career in Pittsburgh. Braden Mann is the former Pro Bowler, but what does a Pro Bowl mean nowadays? Really nothing.
Right.
So we got him off waivers from the Jets, and then on the 21st, go ahead, Chipper.
It was DeMarvin Leals who that.
Okay, DeMarvin Leal.
That's his name.
Yeah, DeMarvin Leal. I'm sorry for butchering his name there.
We got Braden Mann, the punter, off of waivers from the Jets, so we got him at dirt cheap too. So, pretty good offseason here for Omar Khan and team. And we talked a lot last season about how we haven't really seen an Omar Khan offseason yet because it was still the former general manager of the Pittsburgh Steelers who did a lot in the offseason last year and the draft. So this is the first time we've gotten to see what Omar Khan can do in an offseason. I'm not mad at anything that I see here. I know we still have a lot of free agents that are on our books, but they'll probably be released by the time the start of the season starts. Hopefully one of them wears number 2. But Chipper, what did you think about Omar Khan's first offseason as the general manager of the Pittsburgh Steelers?
As far as the free agent signings go, I loved them. If you look at all the contracts that he doled out, all the contracts he doled out were 3 years.
Yeah.
So again, it's when you go to the three-year contracts, it's again you're looking at 3 years and 1 year deal thing. Low risk. So I especially like the fact that we got more offensive linemen to help out the offensive line, even though last year the whole offensive, it's all 17 games together. Maybe it's just as backups. Maybe it's just as a competition. Who knows what? And then depending on the offensive tackle in the draft, that'll just add to the offensive line.
Yeah. Dave, what did you think about Omar Khan's first year running the Steelers?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I think that, there's more to come with that. I think that he's going to make some moves here in the draft. I've got my first 3 rounds here in the draft that I think that we're going to pick up, but we'll see here what goes on, man. I'm good with Omar Khan being the general manager. Hopefully these picks that he got and or these free agents that he got that, they work out. If they do, they do. He's only got some of these on 1 year contract. So, it's okay. I'm cool with it. So he did a pretty good job. Now let's see what he can do in the draft. He'll be hands-on in this draft, not like he was last year sitting back watching. And you already concede that he's going to be a man that's going to take risk. And if that trade's there, then he's going to make it because he wants this team to be back in the Super Bowl. And it's kind of funny that people are still calling Kenny Pickett little hands and all that other stuff, and that he's not a franchise quarterback. He's proved throughout last season that he can play in big games. Wasn't a lot of big games, probably about 4. Brought us back. He brought the energy, the moxie that, he needed to bring his first year. I want to see his passing touchdowns go up this year. We got to get the ball deep down the field. We have to do that. And they're protecting Kenny. He's got to be a pass-first quarterback instead of a run-first quarterback. But I get it. If you got them another skill set, that's another weapon the defense has to try to contain. So I'm okay with Kenny tucking the ball down and running when we need it, but let's try to stay in the pocket a little bit more. I'm glad that he's running around making plays against his wide receivers. I like Kenny, and he's up 13 pounds this season. So he was weighing 213 at the end of last season. He's up to 226, and he's been down in Florida working with the wide receivers for the Steelers, especially Deontay Johnson. And they said that there's a good rapport between him and Johnson. So, Chipper, what do you think about that with Kenny Pickett? And real quick, with him getting 13 more pounds up, and how do you evaluate his season from last year?
Yeah, I think you're getting your information from the same place I get it, because that's exactly what I heard. He bulked up 13 pounds, has been working with a personal quarterback coach down in Florida with the other wide receivers. You can only hope he throws more touchdowns, right? Was it nine interceptions or 9 touchdowns, 7 interceptions last year, I think is what it was. You can only hope exactly. that touchdown number increases a lot. And we can only hope with a full training camp with Matt Canada and a full season with Matt Canada. Hopefully they'll throw the ball a lot more deeper this year than they did last year. So we can only hope.
Chipper, what do you grade his first season as his quarterback, and do you think he's the franchise quarterback moving forward for this team, or do you need to see more from him before you give him that franchise tag of quarterback for the Steelers?
Well, for the next at least 3 more seasons, he's the franchise quarterback, right? Because he's going to be under contract for at least the first 4 years with the 5th-year option. So, yeah, for the next 2 or 3 more seasons, he's our franchise quarterback. Again, it goes back to working with Matt Canada, for a full training camp and for a full season. If Kenny fails, is it his fault or is it Matt Canada's fault? Who knows? We were all wanting Matt Canada out of there after last season, so now he's getting his opportunity.
Yeah. I probably would grade him at about a C, but it was more like I need to see more out of him before I can really sit there and say, is he going to be a failure? Is he going to be a success? What I saw out of him last year, there were definitely sparks of greatness, but with the flippy floppy between him and Mitch Trubisky because of concussions and things like that. Getting 2 concussions in your rookie season, no bueno. So, we definitely need to see a little bit more with that. But a lot of that could have been because our O-line, and we talked about this at nauseum last season, that our O-line was the equivalent of Swiss cheese. So we'll have to see what happens with that. So, gentlemen, let's get your opinion here. How do you guys want to do this? Do we just want to do, go pick by pick? Do you want everybody to read all their picks at once, and then we just go around the table? Or do we go, I give round 1, you give round 1, Chipper gives round 1, and then we go round 2, so on and so forth? How do you want to do this?
We can just go around the table here and see, your thoughts on the first round pick, who's going to be number 1, if there's any big trades going to happen. So, Chipper, if you want to start it off or whatnot, what do you think with the first round? Panthers have that pick. They traded with the Bears. They got a boatload from the Bears. Who do you have them taking and whatnot? Do you see them making the move there? Because I heard that.
No, I only did Steelers draft round.
That's okay. So. I got a list here. So, Chipper, who do you think that they're going to pick at that?
I believe Carr's going Bryce Young. There was rumor there's got to be a reason why he stopped doing visits. Now, whether you want to believe that the Panthers did not tell him that or whatever, that's totally up to you. But I believe that Bryce Young is going to the Panthers, and C.J. Stroud will end up somehow going to Indianapolis.
Wow, you think CJ will go to the Colts? They're going to have to trade up from 3 to 2 to get that. But I got Bryce Young going number 1 as well. I don't think CJ can go to the Panthers and be successful. I think the place that he needs to go is where you said, Chipper. He's got good wide receivers, a running back, and a decent defense over there, and a good head coach that's coming in. You don't want to start over there, but I think Bryce Young goes first. then to trade the second from the Texans to the Colts. I think they take C.J. Stroud with the second pick. The Colts, Anthony Richardson, I think he'll go to the Texans. And then, we fall all the way down to the Steelers pick. They have us picking Lucas Van Ness, which is a very good pick for defense. Team him up with T.J. Watt. I'm sorry, J.J. Watt. Or no, T.J. I had it right the first time. I got his jersey on.
T.J.
Team him up with T.J. Watt. I think that's a good pick for us. But I really want to stick with your thing there this year, Chipper. And I'm hearing a lot of talk about the Steelers trying to trade into the top 10 with Atlanta at 9 to get Paris Johnson Jr. from Ohio State. And if they do that, man, that's a huge, huge get for us right off the rip. You might have to trade the second pick or our first pick in the second round to get that. But I don't know, man. I love Paris Johnson with us there at 9. If he's still on the board at 9, I think we're going to move up and take him. What are your thoughts on that, guys, real quick? Lee, I'll start with you. What do you think about the two people I named real quick?
So if we, and this is funny that you said that, if we move up to 9, because I've been hearing that same rumor, obviously, I actually had them taking Paris Johnson Jr. as well, or possibly even Broderick Jones.
Ooh, Broderick Jones. That's a good one. He's the cornerback from Georgia, right?
Right. But if we stick at 17, I have them going with Brian.
What's that, Chipper?
Broderick Jones is the offensive tackle from Georgia.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Offensive tackle from Georgia.
But if we stick at 17, I have them going Brian Breeze, a defensive tackle out of Clemson. He can come to Pittsburgh with the ability to play immediately to some degree, and down the line even develop into a star for either Cam Hayward or Larry Ogunjobi. We struggled on depth last season with him there. We won't have that. The Steelers have been super high on Brian Brees. They've said nothing but good things about him the entire draft period. Spent a good chunk of time with him at his pro day, invited him for a pre-draft visit, and there was once a report claiming that he was only one of 2 players that they loved at pick 17.
Real quick on the Luke Van Ness that they got him here. I got some combine things here on him. His vertical jump was 31, broad jump 9 feet 10 inches. 3-cone drill was 7.2 seconds. His 20-yard shuttle, which is pretty good, 4.3. Bench press 17 reps. He also ran the 40 in 6.4 seconds. So pretty fast for a big guy right there. He's moving with that. And then, we talked about Paris Johnson. I got his combine numbers right here. Either one of these kids can come in and start right away. So they gave him an 8.0 for his grade. He's a perfect prospect, perennial all-pro, Pro Bowl talent, first-year starter, boomer bust potential, will become a good starter within 2 years, will eventually be a multi-year starter, will eventually be a great starter is what they're saying over there from the combine and whatnot for Paris Johnson. So both of these guys right here, I wouldn't be mad if we took either one of them, but I also like the cornerback that Chipper was talking about from Alabama, Brian Branch, who's another hard-hitting corner who we can put back there with Keanu Neal. Anytime you like to hit hard over there, AFC North football, I know that people don't like the old cliche or it's out of football now is smash mouth football, but we need some hard hitters over there, man, especially on defense. Chipper, what do you think about them two guys that I talked about real quick, and how do you see us making any trades or anything to move up in the top 10 to get Paris Johnson?
If we're trading up to number 9, like you said, or like the rumors are possibly out there, I would absolutely love to have Paris Johnson. I don't think he's going to drop down to 17. So if we're going to go after him, I just hope that I hope that we'd have to give up 17 and was it 48, 49, the second pick that we have in. I would love
49.
to keep the 32nd pick to get that cornerback that we want, whether it be Kelly Ringo whether it be is it Witherspoon out of Illinois or kid from I think it's South Carolina. I can't remember. I don't exactly remember his name right offhand. But yeah, I mean, if we're going to trade up, I would love to be able to keep that first pick in the second round, number 32, just to be able to keep it.
Okay, that's cool. What do you think about our second round pick here? I know that they got Pittsburgh with their second round pick taking Dawad Jones from Ohio State, another person that I'd love to see us take. I mean, he's very, very good, and if you get him with the first pick in the second round, essentially it's a first round pick because
Miami lost their pick.
Yeah, Miami lost their pick, so essentially it's another pick in the first round. Love this pick here by Pittsburgh. I mean, you can't go wrong with that pick for the Steelers at that, especially first pick in the first round. But one of the people that I'd like to see them get is like I said, Brian Branch, we talked about him, but another guy that I've been hearing a lot about that the Steelers are getting is Osiris Terrence from Florida, the guard. Keep an eye out on him. I think that he's going to be, the guard from Florida. Osiris Terrence, or Torrance, I'm sorry. So keep an eye out on him that Pittsburgh gets one of them too at 32. Lee, your thoughts on 32?
I actually heard a scouting report from Ike Taylor that went to this kid's pro day and coming back and saying he's a dog.
Who is it?
This is Tyreek Stevenson. He's a cornerback out of Miami. He's moving up in the draft, so he could actually go in the first round before we even get a chance to get him. He possesses all the traits that you'd look for in a corner. Doesn't have that top-tier athleticism or the speed for deep routes, but he's not slow by no means. And if he can work on his reaction time, he's a great corner. And being able to develop him behind Patrick Peterson is key.
Chipper, let me ask you this question real quick, okay? You know this wide receiver draft is kind of
not good.
Not good. If you're Pittsburgh and you don't make the move to move into the top 10 and Jackson Smith-Njigba is there at 17, do you take him to add another weapon for Kenny Pickett?
Nope. I want one of the top 3, maybe 4 offensive linemen. I want one of the top 3 or 4 offensive linemen at number 17, or I want the best available cornerback at 17.
So what you're saying is you wouldn't take Jackson Smith-Njigba if he's there at 17?
He's shaking his head no.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Just a thought. All right. We'll go to
not.
All right, our number
so
what's our other pick in the second round?
Well, I'm actually seeing something kind of interesting here. Where did you get that from? ESPN?
Yes.
So ESPN has them going defense in round 1. And what was the position for that kid that you had at 32?
Offensive tackle from Ohio
offensive
State.
Tackle. Okay. So they have them going offensive tackle with the first pick of the second round. Chipper wants to go offense or cornerback. I went defense because that's what I'm hearing the Steelers are looking for in the first round and with that first pick in the second round. But we also have pick 49, so we're not picking too far behind our first pick in the second round. And this is where I went offense. I went offensive tackle DeWand Jones out of Ohio State. We need a Buckeye. And they were actually have an interesting relationship with him. They were all in on him at one point, so much so that they were looking at him at pick 17.
Wow, wouldn't it be nice for Pittsburgh to get both of them kids out of Ohio State, Paris Johnson Jr. and DeWand Jones right back to back? And you talk about our other pick at 49, Lee, and Chipper talked about it, Ringo. There's a lot of people that's not high on the kid, but it says if Pittsburgh hasn't addressed their cornerback needs, that they take this kid right here, that he fits in, and he's a starter right away. But there's a lot of people in Pittsburgh that's not high on him. I think if Joey Porter Jr. falls here, this is where you take him. I think I think you do it not only for Steelers fans or whatnot, but you bring the kid back home. His dad's played there. He knows how to play Steelers football. His dad has talked about it. I'm a big Joey Porter Jr. fan there. And if you can get him,
isn't he in the XFL right now?
No. He's in the combine for the draft. So, I mean, if you can get him at 49, I take him at 49. Chipper, your thoughts on pick 49? Who are you taking?
Well, Joey Porter Jr. won't even be there. He won't even be at. He might not even be at 32 for us to take. At 49, after taking cornerback, offensive tackle with those picks, with the third pick, I'd like to see us take a defensive lineman that's available. And I hear it's possible that kid from Pitt is available. That Calais, I forget what his last name is, but the defensive tackle from Pitt could very well be available.
Cansey, you're talking about Calais Cansey?
Yep.
Yeah, that kid's pretty good too. I heard, his name's been around there. You talk about Joey Porter Jr. here. This mock draft that I got, they got him going 22, or Joey Porter Jr. 22 going to the Ravens. That's one place I do not want him to go. Ravens don't pick him. Pittsburgh, if he's there at 17 or whatnot, or 32, you take him there. I think you bring him home. Like I said, I'm okay with Joey Porter Jr. playing with the Steelers.
Given who his dad is, do you think, like, if his dad's sitting there with him on draft day and fucking the Ravens call him, that he's even going to let him answer the phone?
Absolutely he is, because Joey Porter, I mean, your kid's making it to the pros.
Sure.
I mean, Joey, yeah, you absolutely do that. I mean, if Pittsburgh doesn't want to draft you, and
I don't think I've ever heard of this happening, and I don't mean to interrupt you, Dave, but has anybody ever turned down an offer from a team in the draft?
They have. Eli Manning has. He got traded, or he told San Diego Chargers, if you draft me, I'm not going to play football. And they ended up drafting him. Then they traded him to the Giants. And back in the 80s, it was Elway who turned down the Colts and told the Colts, if you draft me, I'm not going to go there, and went to Denver. So Denver made a pick or a trade to go get him, just like they did with Eli. So absolutely he has done that way. But if you're Joey Porter Jr. and you get a chance to go play football, professional football, and you're in the first round and it's the Ravens, yeah, you take the call, you go there. Do we want him to go there? Absolutely not, because we want him in the black and gold. But if you have an opportunity to go there, hell yeah, kid, go there. Go play. There might be a time in your future where you're a free agent and you sign with the Steelers. I'm okay with that. I mean, but I'm not okay with him being drafted by the Ravens. No, absolutely not. If Pittsburgh's got a chance to get him, go get the kid.
I'm not denying that. I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about Joey Porter Jr. too. I mean, do we actually pull that trigger at 17 though? I mean, if we have the opportunity, or if we even move up to number 9, would you be comfortable taking him at 9?
Not at 9. Not if you're moving up to 9, you're getting Paris Johnson Jr. That's who you're getting. If you're moving up to 9, you have to get the offensive lineman.
Yeah,
you have to. I mean,
that's why I asked.
Yeah, that's a steal. You don't get him there. If he's there at 32, you absolutely take him. But I don't know. Omar Khan might say, hey, we'll trade you 2 6-round picks and move back up into the first round and give you a player, maybe Deontay Johnson. You never know. I heard his name might be on the trade block too.
Bye-bye.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see what Omar Khan has here. Chipper, your thoughts on if Joey Porter?
If you're trading up to Joey Porter, first of all, Joey Porter, but I want him first. Other three, if those 3 or 4 offensive linemen are already gone, I want Joey Porter Jr. at 17. But if you're trading up from 17 to 9, you're going after a Christian Gonzalez, going after that kid, that Witherspoon out of Illinois, or you're going for Paris Johnson, or hey, I even heard Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter might go after.
I heard that name too. I heard that name too, Jalen Carter. I would take him in a heartbeat.
If you're trading up from 17 to 9, you want an impact player like that. You're not trading up to get Joey Porter Jr. when you chances are you could probably get him at 17, maybe even 32.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, it was just a question I was throwing out there to you guys. Obviously, keep the Porter name in the black and gold. I got no problems with that. All right, so round 3, pick number 80. Dave, who does ESPN say we're getting?
ESPN says that we're getting Zach Pickens, defensive tackle from South Carolina. I mean, I'm not too fond of that kid. I mean, I don't know much about him, but here is where you go. You have to help out your young quarterback, and you got to give him something he's comfortable with. And we see how that has worked out for the Bengals. So if Pittsburgh can do that, and if Jordan Addison is there at number 80, you take him at 80 and get Kenny comfortable with his wide receiver that he had in college and that he was very, very successful with. If Jordan Addison's there, you take him at 80.
Yeah, I actually had him going with an edge rusher from Kansas State, Felix Ndukai Uzuma. Yeah, and because we missed out on Bud Dupree, and we're down to like our last list of options for death at outside linebacker. Everybody's saying that the Steelers have really done their homework with the draft, and this Felix kid has been a part of that preparation. Learning behind TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith. I mean, can you go any better than that?
No, not at all, man. And I mean, that's some good company to learn behind, and I would love to see that happen. But I say we go offense here. You get Kenny Pickett another weapon, because you never know what can happen with your.
Do we really need another Pickens though? I mean, because we're gonna get.
It's not a Pickens. It's a. What did I say his name was?
You said his last name was Pickens.
No, I didn't say his last name was Pickens. It's Jordan Addison.
Oh, Addison.
Yeah, Jordan Addison from Pitt. He wore number 8. So I mean, he played at USC last year. So I would try to go get him. Chipper, what do you think at round 3, pick 80? Who do you think they get?
Still there. I don't know that he will be, but I'm just throwing this out there because I didn't make it past the 3rd pick. 4th round pick, if he's still there, I'd love to have that Jack Campbell, that linebacker from Iowa. I hear he's supposed to be a beast, but I don't know that he'll actually be there in the 3rd round for us to take.
Jack Campbell, I heard a lot about him too. I haven't watched a lot of film on him. I think I'm going to do that this week, and check and see what's going on with him. And but he's been linked to the Steelers, man. He has been linked there. So that's our 3rd round picks. Lee, what's the next pick we got?
We got in the 4th round, we got pick 120th overall. Here is where I go to try to get another weapon for Kenny Pickett out of Ole Miss, Jonathan Mingo. He's a wide receiver. After we traded for Allen Robinson, we filled a major need that we had at wide receiver, but it's unlikely that we don't draft one. If Robinson does anything to their plans in the rookie class, it's probably more likely to bring in another weapon.
You said Jonathan Mingo?
Yes, sir.
That's a good pickup for Pittsburgh if he's there.
Timbuktu watching, he's saying Studio One Renegades. Absolutely.
That's right. We just wanted to make it easier on everybody today. Tim, I was over here doing some cleaning, moving some stuff around, and Lee's right down the road. So easier for both of us to be here instead of driving all the way back to Berea. So thanks for watching, Tim. Appreciate it.
Mingo, he's got a 4.4 speed, 6'2", 220 pounds, play inside and outside, and even has off-ball tight end on his resume.
Love it. So, we'll see what happens. I know that we didn't bring Derek Watt back this year, a fan favorite, so maybe we can go get a fullback, or do we already have the fullback on the roster with Connor Haywood? Because I know that he's a tight end.
Your favorite.
Hey, absolutely.
Hey, man, that kid balled out last season, man. I got no problem with Hayward, man.
Yeah, he did pretty good for Pittsburgh for what he had to do. I think he'll be
Derek Watt.
Yeah, Derek Watt. He's Derek Watt. Hopefully we can bring him back on a smaller deal.
It's Dave's favorite.
It is my favorite.
Hey, man. Watt when they actually used Watt got shit done though. Like that was my big thing. Like every time we heard the name Derek Watt, motherfucker was getting yards. So it's not like he was just sitting there twiddling his thumb or playing with his dick back there. He actually got him some yards.
He did get us some yards, and he got a touchdown earlier on in the season, and it helped us out.
Hey,
So, I mean, I don't know. Let's see what Connor Haywood can do for the Steelers this year. Hopefully, we can find a fullback, because I still think that this offense needs a fullback back there with Najee to take a little bit of burden off him. But the offensive line, man, we addressed that. Let's keep addressing it. Hopefully, I would love to hear the Steelers pick Paris Johnson Jr. at 9. I hope that's the pick we take.
Do we want to go, because we don't have a pick in rounds 5 through 6. We don't have another pick again until round 7. Do we really want to go to pick 241 and 251?
No, Chipper, it's up to you. You want to go to them 7th round picks? You got anybody that you still want in round 7 that you see?
I have no clue.
Yeah, I mean, I went
no clue what's going to happen in the 7th round. I'll just probably take anybody.
Yeah, I went deep into like who the fuck are they for my 7th round pick. So I got a cornerback, Starling Thomas the 5th, falling to 241 is a complete guess, obviously. Only standing at 5'10 is a concern for any team. He'll be looked at as a player who can transition into slot. But he did run a 4.28 40-yard dash at his pro day. So kid's got some speed. And then at round 251, just for the fuck of it, I picked Jaron Hall, quarterback out of BYU. Because obviously we're going to need a replacement for Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could probably sign another one for free agent quarterback that's going to be out there. Bring him in for a camp body, maybe a Nick Foles or somebody to be a 3rd-string quarterback. Maybe draft somebody because we don't know how long Mitch is going to be there. We don't know if he's going to make it through training camp or whatnot. They're going to bring in another quarterback for a camp arm and try to maybe he beats out Mitch, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'd like to see Nick Foles or Andy Dalton. I know a lot of people don't want to say Andy Dalton, but I'd like.
Why not? I mean, the kid kicked our ass how many years in the playoffs? I mean,
Andy Dalton only beat us. He didn't beat us in the playoffs.
No, I mean, okay, I don't know.
You're talking about Carson Palmer didn't beat us in the playoffs neither.
Well, I mean, all right, Cincinnati was in the playoffs and we played them quite a bit for a few years in the playoffs.
Correct, but
with Andy Dalton as quarterback.
Correct.
So, I mean, I would not be upset with bringing the Red Rocket in. Or the Red Rooster.
Yeah, I mean, the Red Rocket, as long as he's a backup quarterback, I'm good. And, can start spot if Kenny gets hurt. He can throw the ball deep. So, I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with bringing.
Not at all. Yeah,
what about you, Chipper? Are you okay with them bringing another quarterback?
Well, they'll have to, because the 3rd-string quarterback or a 3rd quarterback period. The only thing that when you're dealing with it, will he be willing to come in knowing that he's probably going to be the 3rd-string quarterback, or will they officially just tell whoever that he's going to back up and tell Mitch that he's going to be the 3rd-string, with the hopes of maybe even trying to trade Mitch?
Yeah, they might trade Mitch and get another. Maybe they move into the 6th round, Lee. You never know. I mean, Mitch is worth a 6th-round draft pick if you trade him. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but we're just in the offseason. The offseason is just kind of cooled down free agency wise. Now we're ramping up and getting ready for the draft. It's this Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Chipper, out of all the free agents that we signed, real quick, which one of these free agents that we signed, free agent wise, not who we brought back through free agency or was with the Steelers, which one of these free agents really sticks out to you and you want to see, or who we got in trade as well? Who are you most looking to see what we get out of them and what they can do for Pittsburgh?
Well, for me, it's one of the 2 guards that we got, either that Isaac Suamalu or Nate.
This is where we need Angel.
Either one of those 2 now, unfortunately, they play offensive. Unfortunately, they play offensive line, so there's really no way to play it except for giving up sacks or the running game. How well are we able to run? How well I run the ball, or how many sacks are given up. So those are the 2 guys that I'm intrigued to see what they can do to help out the team.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know we said at the beginning of the show, I mean, Omar Khan even came out himself and was just like, we're a team that builds in the draft, and then we do all that in the off season, with free agency and everything like that. So, I mean, kudos to Omar Khan for that. We do know that the Steelers have been known to throw some curves when it comes to who they like in the draft as well. They did it last year with quarterback. We all thought that. What's up, Chipper?
So, who are you guys? Who you guys think? Who you guys looking at?
Well, that's when I was going to go to Lee, but he wanted to go another route. But so real quick,
No. I was gonna say, I was just doing a very long-winded thing. No, I mean, I'm kind of looking to see what those offensive linemen can do as well. I mean, that's been a big thing of need as of late with this team. I mean, Nate Herbig, that's going to be a good one. Isaac, the guy from the Eagles. I mean, that one's going to be, those are going to be the guys to look at, man. But yeah, no, I was just getting very long-winded.
So the three that is going to be key for me is what I'm going to say is, and I talked about this earlier in the show, is Patrick Peterson. I love that move. I absolutely love the move by the Steelers with Patrick Peterson. I also like the Nate Herbig move. That solidifies our offensive line for now. I don't know what they're going to do in the draft, but I mean, Nate Herbig, he's really good. And then I absolutely love the Allen Robinson deal, especially getting him for a 7th round pick. And we're only paying $5 million essentially for him for the next 2 years. So, I mean, I love that move by the Steelers. Omar Khan, if I had to grade his NFL free agency his first year, I give him a B+.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good
A-.
moves. And he also got rid of 2 of the Steelers who we don't need, and was a big headache for the Steelers last year. And his Chipper's boys was the number 20 of Cam Sutton, which is one of Chipper's fan favorites. I know he wanted to buy his jersey when we were out in Pittsburgh. And also number 34, Terrell Edmonds, who Chipper has a autographed helmet from. So if anybody out there in Steelers land wants a free miniature Terrell Edmonds autograph signed helmet, make sure you look up Chipper Nenendahl on Facebook.
Wow.
That he would autograph it too as well and give it to you. And that's Chipper's boy. He'll sign it. Missing my boy Terrell Edmonds from Daddy Chipper Nenendahl. So Chipper, your thoughts on losing them 2 players?
Well,
are you speechless, Chipper?
I didn't hate Terrell Edmonds as much as you did. I just making sure you saw what I commented. That's all.
I didn't see your comment because there's a little delay. What did
he went like this.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it. Your thoughts on losing them, Chipper?
I didn't think Edmonds as much as you did.
I can't hear him.
He didn't hate you. He did not hate Terrell Edmonds as much as you did.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I'm glad that he's gone. Take his talents to where did he go sign at? He went to the Bears. Yeah, he went to the Bears. Take your 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalties over there and go be with Chase Claypool and do your thing over there.
Yeah, the draft is going to be interesting. I can't wait.
Where did he go?
Terrell Edmonds went to Philadelphia.
Oh, I'm sorry, Philadelphia.
Well, I mean, he just moved a couple more hours south.
Go ahead, Lee. You were saying something about the draft?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good year. We're finally getting to be able to grade Omar Khan as, a GM of the Steelers, because he didn't officially take over until after the draft last year from Kevin Colbert. So, I mean, we'll see what this team does, and we'll see how we look once the season kicks off. I mean, I'm looking forward to this year. It should be a good year. So we'll kind of see what happens, man.
All right, real quick. Draft is on Thursday. Chipper, 2 players who you want first round. If they're there, take them. Go ahead. Chipper, first two pick or favorite two players you want Pittsburgh to take? Two.
Well, obviously Paris Johnson Jr. if he's there. If not, then I want Joey Porter Jr. or whatever, or even Broderick Jones.
All right, Lee, who you got?
Obviously, we've talked about what's his last name? Paris Johnson, and Broderick Jones. I mean, those were the two that I had if we moved up to 9. So.
Okay. I mean, my two I think were unanimous with Paris Johnson Jr. I'd take him in a heartbeat, and Joey Porter. I mean, if they're both there, them are two players that I'd keep an eye out on. Want to give a big shout out to Lee Money for today and Chipper for hanging out with us here at Steel City Renegades over at Studio One Detroit Auto Parts. Make sure you guys, if you're in the Cleveland area or Euclid area, stop out at Detroit Auto Parts, get 10% off when you mention Redline Radio. Tell them that we sent you over here from the Renegades. Lee, what's our other sponsors here that we got going on in the studio?
We get this is an old ass list.
Here you go. I got one right here. Incredible Keepsakes.
Yep.
If you guys need anything with Incredible Keepsakes, we have them right here. Look them up, Mike and Diane. Incredible Keepsakes. They can do anything. They're getting ready to do embroidery. So we might even have some Steel City Renegades jerseys that'll be coming up this year. So stay tuned to that. Also, Pit Road Diecast. Make sure you get your diecast. Call them today, 216-355-2347. For all you diecast fans, which is Chipper he's a big diecast fan. His diecast collection got pretty big. I got some over here. Call Pit Road Diecast.
They're doing model cars too.
Yeah, they are doing model cars. Call them today. Tell them that Redline Radio sent you and get $5 off in-store purchase. Also, Wiggins Construction, Home Improvement. You guys need any home improvement done, any construction done, Wiggins Construction Home Improvement is the place to go.
Yeah, I just want to say something here real quick. There's going to be a big announcement coming out tomorrow on the Redline Radio social media page. Don't know what time that's going to be, so you're going to have to watch the Redline Radio Facebook page tomorrow for a special announcement. It's about a program that's going to be happening Thursday afternoon.
Oh, okay. And then I have an announcement I want to make here. August 11th, make sure you guys mark that day down. Bad Juju, Chris Biggin live at Lucy's, 2218 Broadview Road in Cleveland, Ohio. Make sure you check out and keep your eye on the Redline Radio page, Redline Media Group page. Tickets are on sale right now, $10, $15 at the door. So Bad Juju Cleveland, the award-winning Bad Juju Cleveland, will be live at Lucy's, and Chris Biggin will be headlining for them. Chipper, anything you got to say in closing before we get out of here?
Nope, not much at all. Looking forward to Thursday night.
For sure.
Me too. All right, for Lee Money, for Chipper from the sewing room, I'm Dynamite Dave. We're signing off from Studio One. Deuces, Steeler Nation. Hopefully we get the right pick. Paris Johnson Jr., Joey Porter. My two who we want. Who you want?